I will hear something. And if yes, you will wait some. If something.
Good afternoon, our friends.
Mm.
Dear Mr. Minister, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends. I'm really grateful to all of you for being here with us today. The day when we are not able to celebrate, but cannot help marking the Independence Day of Ukraine and showing through this exhibition a series of atrocities such as rape, executions, and bombardments being made by Russia at the territory of my country. 32 years ago, on August 24th, Ukraine declared its independence, adopting the Act of Declaration of Independence of our state and re-establishing, in fact, the Ukrainian statehood. For Ukrainians, the Independence Day has always been the most important holiday of the year and the brightest day to enjoy the rebirth of the state of our common values: respect for human dignity, equality, freedom, and justice. But last year, on February 24th, 2022, Kremlin decided to invade our country, brutally attempting to roll back our freedom with tanks, soldiers, and missiles. A year and a half of Russia's armed aggression against Ukraine and against our Ukrainian people has shown and proved that it is nothing but an act of conscious genocide of the Ukrainian people. The list of our enemies' barbaric crimes is endless. At the same time, the Ukrainians have demonstrated the more threats to our freedom we have, the more courageous we are in our fight. And the fact that we are not alone in this struggle makes Ukrainians even stronger. We are grateful to our Slovak partners for the decision to join the group of countries whose parliaments recognize the Russian regime as terroristic and Russia as a state that supports terrorism. We highly appreciate that Slovakia is also a member of the core group on the establishment of the Special Tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine. And we were touched by the warm words of support to bring durable and just peace to all of Ukraine, voiced yesterday by Her Excellency, Madam President Zuzana Chaputova, at the third summit of the International Crimea Platform. And we highly appreciate Slovakia's readiness to contribute to the implementation of the peace formula that will bring just peace, especially in the area of nuclear safety, demining, restoration of justice, or addressing the environmental damage caused by the war. Dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, today we have gathered only to mark Ukraine's Independence Day in the midst of the war. But we are convinced that the first Independence Days we will be able to celebrate happily after our joint victory and with our sincere friends. Let me also take this opportunity to invite you to the Independence Day concert of the Kharkiv National Academic Theatre of Opera and Ballet. The concert will be held under the patronage of the Embassy of Ukraine and, of course, under the patronage of the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs of the Slovak Republic. This Sunday, August 27th, at 7 p.m., we will be honored to see you all at the main square in Bratislava. At the end, let me also extend my special expression of my gratitude to the General Director of the Slovak National Museum, Branislav Panis, and the Director of the Bratislava Castle, Peter Barta, for their full support in realization of this very important project. Thank you a lot for your constant support, and thank you for your attention. Dear guests, before we proceed, let me take you through the highlights of today's evening. In a minute, we will continue our official part of the event, after which you will be able to view the exhibition itself. In about an hour, we invite you downstairs for a glass of wine and a concert program prepared specially for you by the Kharkiv National Academic Theatre of Opera and Ballet. And also, I would like to use this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to the Office of the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as Mr. Victor Pinchuk, who is the founder of the Victor Pinchuk Foundation, that is considered the largest private Ukrainian philanthropic foundation. This foundation is active in the fields of health, education, culture, international affairs, human rights, and local communities. And actually, thanks to this foundation and PinchukArtCentre, we are able to witness the stories of Russia's crimes against the Ukrainian people here in Bratislava. And now I have the honor to give the floor to the art director of the PinchukArtCentre, and at the same time the moderator of today's event, Mr. Bjorn Gelhoff.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. So let me all welcome you to the opening event of the exhibition Russian War Crimes. This is the 9th time we have this exhibition. This is the 9th edition of the exhibition on a very special day for Ukraine here in Bratislava. So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for making this possible. I think without you, we wouldn't be here. And for us, it's important to be able to share the stories we are sharing with you today. So let us start with some words we have from the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak.
Dear guests, welcome to the Russian War Crimes exhibitions. They are very grateful to the people and the Parliament of Slovakia and Presidents Zuzana Chaputova for supporting our nations in the fight for our and your freedom. Any struggle sooner or later ends in the victory and peace. But peace is impossible without justice, and justice is impossible without accountability for those who started this terrible war. What is why accountability is one of the key points of the President Zelensky peaceful formula. Since February 2022, 146,000 crimes have been committed against Ukrainians due to the large-scale Russian aggressions. According to our data, about 11,000 civilians have been killed during this time, 497 of whom were children. And these are not the final figures. How can they respond to this nightmare that the Russian authorities have turned the lives of Ukrainians into? What is the global response to the outbreak of the largest war in the Europe since World War II? From the early days of the large-scale invasion, we started searching for the effective legal weapon. The weapon what for some reason had been hidden from the world far away in the bureaucratic drawers. The weapons is accountability for the crimes of aggressions. These weapons finds through creations of the Special International Tribunal to try Russian top political leaders for the crimes of aggressions. In our opinion, a special international tribunal can be established on the basis of the agreement between Ukraine and the United Nations. Most of the civilized world is already united in the faith that those who unleashed this war and committed hundreds of thousands of horrific crimes must be tried and punished. This impunity for the aggressor, humanity, will be at risk of the repetition of these horrors, and very much likely on the even larger scale. So, all the people of goodwill around the world need to unite to stop and punish this evil, for the sake of our common security and the peaceful future for our children. Slava Ukraini!
And now it's my honor to introduce the Minister of Foreign Affairs and European Affairs, Minister Vlachowski. Please, the floor is yours.
Dear Ambassador Castran, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends of Ukraine, many thanks to the organizers for this event, for the opportunity to say a few words on the occasion of the opening of this exhibition. The Russian war crimes brings a strong symbolism, and it is topical as it reflects the harsh reality of the Russian world on the ground, destruction and people suffering. Today, we commemorate the 32nd anniversary of Ukrainian independence. 32 years of independence and sovereignty that created the modern Ukrainian nation. Its own identity became the basis for breaking out of the Soviet neo-colonial heritage. Freedom is what resonates perhaps the most in Ukraine today, and it's no wonder. Ukraine was invaded by its neighbor just because it wanted to hold the helm of its next voyage. Because of its free decision, Ukraine has lost up to 9 years of peace since 2014, not to mention its territories that are temporarily occupied and a lot of human lives and destruction. We realize what it means to fight for freedom. This is also why Slovakia has clearly stood on the side of justice, on the side of Ukraine from the beginning. Just a few days ago, I participated in a commemoration of the tragic events of August 1968, when the troops of the then Warsaw Pact began the occupation of Czechoslovakia in order to stop the process that was supposed to change the then system and offer people more freedom. The attack on territorial integrity of Ukraine, on its statehood, reminds me very much of the events of this fatal year, 1968. Ukraine has chosen its future in the family of free democratic nations. Since 2014, Ukraine has been unjustly paying a high tax for its free decision. However, I am convinced that this part of Ukrainian history will remind the whole world of the price of freedom. Brotherly help in Czechoslovakia in 1968 was supposed to last 2 weeks. The Russian soldiers finally left after more than 20 years. I firmly believe that this will not be the case of Ukraine. Last but not least, I avail myself of this opportunity to commend the brave defenders of Ukraine who are also fighting to defend our freedom and our shared values. Боріться, поборете. Вам Бог допомагає. За вас правда, за вас слава и воля святая. Слава Украине!
Thank you, Minister. And now joining us online, the founder of the Alta European Strategy, the PinchukArtCentre and the Victor Pinchuk Foundation, Mr. Pinchuk. Mr. Pinchuk, we can see you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ben. Dear Mr. Minister, dear Mr. Chief of Staff of President of Ukraine, Ambassador, Excellencies, dear friends, thank you very much that today you are here. First of all, I would like to use this opportunity to say thank you very much to Slovakia and the people of Slovakia for your really great, very generous, very sincere support. Ukrainians will never forget this. Since 2016, I was involved in the creation of memorial of Holocaust in Babi Yar in Ukraine, where German Nazi during Second World War committed genocide against Ukrainian Jews. During 2 days, in September 1941, 34,000 of Ukrainian Jews were killed. And we created this memorial with the hope that such a tragedy will never happen in human history, with the hope that never again. But unfortunately, since 24th of February 2022, we were witnessing genocide which committed by Russian Nazis against Ukrainians. And we understood that this approach never again doesn't work, and we change our approach from, we have to change our approach from never again to stop now. And we have to tell this tragical story about Russian war crimes as loudly as possible and as widely as possible, with the hope that political leaders will decide to send to Ukraine weapons as much as possible and as quickly as possible. And together with the Office of President and with the Ukrainian government, we decided to create this exhibition about Russian war crimes. And first time this exhibition was shown last year during World Economic Forum in Davos, and after that in the headquarters of NATO in Brussels, and the European Parliament, and in British Parliament, during Munich Security Conference, during General Assembly in New York, during Vilnius Summit, NATO Summit, and next week it will be shown in Berlin, but today we have great honor to show this exhibition in Bratislava. Unfortunately, evil is very productive, and for each edition of this exhibition we have to add new and new tragical images. And even today, for first time, you will see images of tragedy which happened just less than a week ago in Chernihiv, when Russian missile just destroyed theater, and 7 people were killed and more than 150 people were wounded. Today is a very special day for all Ukrainians. Today is our Independence Day. Ukrainians fought for independence for centuries, but only now we have a real chance to get an independence, because all civilized world, including Slovakia, now support us. And of course, Ukrainians fighting for our independence, but also we're fighting for freedom, for democracy, and for the future of all civilized world. And Ukrainian count on you, but you also 100% you can count on Ukrainians. And we will win together. We believe that this exhibition will contribute to our victory. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Pinchuk. And now, as a final speaker, it's my honor to welcome Zuzana Fialova, who I think will be joined, speaking in Slovak, and will joined for translation.
Dobrý večer.
Good evening.
Dnes je na Ukrajine Deň nezávislosti,
Today there is the Independence Day in Ukraine.
ale v tejto chvíli hovoríme chvíľu o obetiach a o súcite.
But at this moment, let's speak for a moment about the victims and the empathy.
Aby sme nestratili ľudskosť,
So we don't lose the humanity.
musíme niekedy kráčať tempom najslabšieho.
Sometimes we have to walk with the pace of the weakest one.
Naučil ma to otec,
I was taught that by my father,
ktorého to naučili hory.
who was taught that by the mountains.
Aj keď teraz kráčame skôr dlhým tunelom,
Although we are walking through a long tunnel right now,
na konci ktorého dúfame v svetlo,
at the which one, at the end, we are hoping for a light.
tak otec a kopce ma naučili putovať tým tempom najslabšieho.
My father taught me to advance in the pace of the weakest one.
Pretože keď zanecháme jediného,
Because even if you leave out only one,
tak sme zanechali všetko.
we will leave behind everything.
Som Zuzana Fialová,
I'm Zuzana Fialova,
dcéra otca,
daughter of a father,
matka syna.
mother of a son,
A Európa je pre mňa stav mysle
and Europe is a state of mind for me.
a niekde sa stala chyba
And somewhere there is the mistake that happened.
a svet okolo nás horí.
And the world around us is burning.
My sme tu pokrk v sračkách
And we are in a big mess.
a otcovia tu už zrazu nie sú.
And the fathers are not around anymore.
Nás tu nechali, aby sme bránili tých slabších.
And we are left here to defend the weaker ones.
A ja dúfam, že raz povie môj syn.
And I hope that one day my son will say,
Naučila ma to mama.
my mother taught me
Nie moc, peniaze a sláva,
that not power, fame, and money,
ale ľudskosť je navždy.
but the humanity lasts forever.
Tak ju prosím, nestrácajme v honbe za osobným šťastím.
So please, let's not lose it in a rush for our personal happiness.
Prosím, Vaša excelencia,
Please, Your Excellency,
odkážte vášmu statočnému národu,
tell your brave nation
že hrdé Slovensko,
that the proud Slovakia,
na schválne hovorím celé,
I say that the whole Slovakia,
hrdé Slovensko stojí pri Ukrajine
the proud Slovakia stands by Ukraine
a bude pri nej stáť až do víťazného konca.
and will stand till the victorious end.
Sláva Ukrajiny!
Glory to Ukraine.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To conclude today's opening ceremony, I will ask you for 8 minutes more of attention. Part of this exhibition is a film work where we have collected over 4,000 images. As every other image in this exhibition verified, we know who took it, we know when it was taken, and we know what is shown of different war crimes. This is a work made by a Ukrainian artist, Alexei Sai, and what you will hear, the sounds, the voices that you will hear, are voices recorded by Russian soldiers who were in the beginning of the war in Ukraine using their own phones to call home to express what they have been doing. So 8 minutes of your attention. Thank you.
Да нет, вон пацаны, кто в магазине. Хлопали. И стоят там что-то.
Ну какой русский человек не сопрет?
Блять, сука, и вот так всю ночь, весь день, нахуй.
Так ты хотел туда, на войну, вот и поехал.
PlayStation 4. Часы исчезли сразу.
Пришел, миллион.
Бля, ну там реально пизда, нахуй, что, бля, все таскают. Ноутбуки, телевизоры, блядь, с хат, нахуй. Все, абсолютно, вообще все выносят, короче, дебилы и базы.
Куда они это складывают?
Ну, в машину.
Куда ездил?
Мародерить ездил.
Куда?
Мародерить.
Да.
У меня квартира целая в кармане лежит.
Куда они это складывают? Да.
У меня квартира целая в кармане лежит.
Я чипсы вернул. Да, нахуй. Я ебал нахуй. Да какой русский человек не сопрет ничего, ты чё? Куда ездил?
Мародерить ездил.
Куда?
Мародерить.
Блинчики даже вчера жарили, нахуй.
Куда они это складывают?
Да.
Три бидона, спрашивал, вчера нашли. До этого у нас было примерно этого самогона, блядь. У меня квартира целая в кармане лежит.
Куда они это складывают?
Да. Когда же они уже там нахуй успокоятся, ебаный хород.
У нас тут, знаешь, мам, у меня на глазах, короче.
Куда ездил?
Мародерить ездил.
Куда?
Мародерить.
А шо нас по новостям? Да нихуя, воюет, да и все.
Я сейчас заебался, а тут золото листит.
Поэтому даже никак, к сожалению, нет.
Охуеть.
Духи какие здесь нашел, блять, вкусные нахуй, пиздец.
У меня квартира целая в кармане лежит.
Да. Да.
Все бери.
Только из кожи слезает.
Дома грабим, ёбаный в рот, чтобы пожрать, блядь.
Ты че, пьяный, что ли, или че?
Это называется 21 рожа на теле мужчины. У меня на глазах, короче.
Да я заебал.
Дали блин.
Я боюсь. Дома грабим, ёбаный в рот, чтобы пожрать, блядь.
А почему ты говоришь, что ты принимал участие?
Давай там. Украинский флаг насилуй, да.
Да.
Чуть говори, понятно?
Говори,
Все, все магазины грабим.
серебра нового.
Дома грабим, ёбаный в рот, чтобы пожрать, блядь.
А шо нас по новостям?
Мародерить ездил. Мародерить. Так же только из кожи слезает.
Вы что, не ее нахуй рассказали?
На всех пальцах.
Она еще лежит, дёрная. Блядь, короче, в голове бьет.
Охуеть.
У меня на глазах,
Блядь, позвали еще нахуй, он еще раз стрелял, она еще лежит.
дали плен.
Он еще раз стрелял. Все, я говорю, пизда. Я говорю,
Да.
закопайте. Дело не за мной. Просто.
Поэтому я тебе говорю, что нельзя его верить.
Этого мужика забили.
Их нахуй, да, я, говорит, всех перестрелял. Нахуй, изнасиловал, блядь.
Представляешь, да, сколько там должно быть ударов, сколько всего должно быть?
Дома грабим, ёбаный в рот, чтобы пожрать, блядь.
Какой русский человек не
У меня на глазах, короче.
Куда ездил?
Мародерить ездил. Дали плен. Мародерить.
Да.
Так, ну давай там, так, ты давай.
Знаешь, кто
Украинский флаг насилуй.
Еще знаешь, какие пути?
Какой человек? Да какой русский человек не сопрет ничего, ты чё? Куда ездил?
Мародерить ездил.
Куда?
Мародерить. Поэтому даже никак, к сожалению, нельзя.
Так.
Теперь у тебя есть 2 норта с манто. У Даши есть это самое.
Да какой русский человек не сопрет ничего, ты чё?
Хорошо,
Ты говоришь, ты просто...
Ой, да.
Да я заебал.
Дали плен.
Я боюсь, пиздец. Дома грабим, ёбаный в рот, чтобы пожрать, блядь.
А почему ты говоришь, что ты принимал
Так,
участие?
ты давай там. Украинский флаг насилуй, да.
Да.
Чуть говори, понятно?
Поймали
Охуеть.
Хорошо, я на глазах, короче. Ты говоришь, ты просто...
Ёбаный урод.
Еще знаешь, как я увидела вот это вот.
Во скольких стреляете, ебать, их камень? Когда же они, сука, там угомонятся, хохлянди ебаные?
Блять, сука, и вот так всю ночь,
Так ты хотел туда, на войну, вот и поехал.
Все настолько вкусное, нахуй, ебать. Тут вот мороженка угощали, ебать, она такая охуенная, нахуй.
Охуеть.
А как вы поживаете?
Ну то, что в погребах есть мародер. Еще знаешь, какие пути? Еще он пошел на его спину. Поэтому даже ни капельки сожаления нет.
Thank you, everybody. I would like now just to invite for a moment of silence, reminding those in Ukraine who have fought for their country, those in Ukraine who have been lost. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. I know this was a very impressive experience. For those who like, we can walk through the exhibition together. You can hear some of the stories and understand some of the facts. Thank you very much. I will go to this space, the first space. Those who are interested, please join.